Hello and welcome to Mad About Sports. And today we are here to bring you the IPL auction and how the IPL mini auction went about. Of course, IPL is still 4 months away, but then the championship teams are made in the table. Auction table is where some of the biggest buys are made. Auction table is where the entire dynamics of things actually play out to be. So here we'll talk about it. Here we'll analyze it in depth. How did the 10 teams go about it in a mini auction? Some of them had some big purse to splurge. Some of them had small purse, so they had to actually go for the value for money additions into their squad. So we are going to be talking about that today. Also saw some record breaking buys. Sam Curran, of course, that's a name which is there in the headlines at this point, alongside Cameron Green and Ben Stokes, of course. So we're going to be talking about that. Without further ado, let's get into it. And before that, do check out our courses. If you also want to know how an auction strategy is devised, how analytics works in an auction strategy, how value for money are being used, how do you go for this kind of X factor players in auction, check out our cricket analytics workshop on Mad About Sports. It's there in the description, so do click and do be a part of it, and you can be an aspiring analyst. You can be a future analyst in an auction table, so do not miss out on that chance. So let's get into the video. It was an auction where a lot of teams came in to fill in the holes, came to fill in the backups, because in the mega auction, a lot of teams did form the core. But now, if we talk about some of the teams who came in with the biggest kitty, it was Punjab Kings and Sunrisers Hyderabad. Sunrisers Hyderabad had 42.2 crore in their kitty, whereas also Punjab Kings had 32.2 crore in their kitty. So they were the big teams out there to bully the small teams with the smaller kitty out there. So let's talk about how they went about. One of the biggest players was Sam Curran, and how did he end up being in Punjab Kings? As you all know, Sam Curran's debut IPL season also was with the Punjab Kings when he rose into stardom after the Under 19 World Cup, and he was a player who Ashwin really wanted, and he was part of the Punjab Kings. Remember, he also has an IPL hat trick there where he had a brilliant spell against Delhi Capitals. So Sam Curran is a name which has resonated with Punjab Kings in the earlier, but of course, there was a bidding war, and Punjab got him for 18.2 crores. It's the biggest player contract in IPL history. Now you're talking about a player contract and the biggest auction sale. That is number one. But a player contract, he's earning more than KL Rahul, Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah. So he is the biggest, highest paid player in IPL at this moment. That is Sam Curran from England, the English all-rounder who was the man of the tournament in the T20 World Cup. Can you say it is the recency bias which has taken him to be the highest paid player? Definitely yes. He had a fantastic T20 World Cup where he was exponential for England in the death overs, and also his ability to hit a long ball will come in handy. And a ground like Mohali, where it's a placid batting track, which one can expect this batting can come in handy. Now you're talking about a Punjab team which has a Liam Livingston, Johnny Bairstow, Shikhar Dhawan, and now add the Sam Curran also into the mix alongside Kagiso Rabada. Looks like a very good unit at this point. Remember, they have two left arm options at this point. They have an Arshdeep Singh, Rabada, and also Sam Curran to actually do the job in the death. So that makes them a very well rounded unit alongside the powerhouse of Johnny Bairstow. They have Liam Livingston, Shikhar Dhawan up top. So it looks like a team who's well set, who's ready to go out there and make the big noise out there. But is this Punjab's here? As always, people say, Punjab makes a lot of changes under the new leadership of Shikhar Dhawan. They would like to really change things around. They would want to have a much more settled unit. That's what Punjab will be eyeing at. Also, remember, they have Prabh Simran Singh, who's had a fantastic IPL season as well. That's about it from the Punjab. Let's talk about Cam Green's buy, right? Cam Green became the second highest player to be sold in an IPL auction. It happened in a consecutive manner. Cam Green was the second highest bid or second highest player to be sold in an auction, and also the second highest player contract right now in IPL. It was sold to Mumbai Indians. Very interesting. Cameron Green came into spotlight after the brilliant series which he had against India in September, where he came opening the batting, where he had an impressive strike rate there, taking on the bowlers up front, playing flamboyant cricketing shots. But here he is being sold as the second highest bid in the IPL. So it's a huge moment for him. Is he the right player? How is he going to fit into the system? Now, whatever you see of Cam Green's exploits in T20 cricket, it's been him opening the batting. How is he going to really adjust, maybe coming into the Mumbai Indians setup. What is the Mumbai Indians setup like? Mumbai Indians already have a Rohit Sharma. They have an Ishan Kishan to open the batting. Alongside that, they have the South African prodigy in Devol Brewers, who they've heavily invested upon, alongside Tristan Stubbs as well. And they have a Tilak Verma, who has been in very good form in the domestic circuit. They have a Tim David, who they have seen as a replacement for Kyron Pollard for the future. Now, Cam Green, how is he going to fit into the system? If he's going to play into the system, he's going to be batting at number 6, number 7. But there's one thing to it. Though his range in the limited overs format, especially towards death, is very limited in terms of his power hitting, he can also provide you with 3 overs with the ball, which is gold dust in T20 cricket. Having a batter who can ball is gold dust, and this lad can crank it up to 140 Ks. A very good option for Rohit Sharma to look up to. Maybe a replacement for Hardik Pandya, who they were struggling to find in the last IPL. They had gone to Ramandeep Singh, they had gone to Ritik Shawki. That all-round slot was something which was eluding them, which they were struggling to find. Maybe an option to fit in number 6. And remember, they're going to play 7 games in Wankhede. This IPL, the teams are going to go back to the old system of home and away, where you're going to have the home teams playing in their home for 7 games. Hence, Wankhede wicket is known for its pace and true bounce, and which Cam Green kind of a player will enjoy batting there. Smaller boundaries on the square. Maybe Cam Green can be the ideal fit into the Mumbai middle order. Now let's talk about the third biggest buy in the auction. It is Ben Stokes. How did Ben Stokes do? And Ben Stokes, of course, is a match winner. We know what he can bring into the table to whichever team he goes to play. And he has gone to the Chennai Super Kings. The 4-time IPL champion have really got the services of Ben Stokes. What does Ben Stokes bring into the table? Now, looking at Chennai Super Kings, a possible captaincy option for the future, definitely a yes. Now, looking at what he can bring into the table, he can bring leadership acumen. He can bat anywhere in the top 5. He can also give you 4 overs with the ball. Now, what are the issues? What do you get with Ben Stokes? Ben Stokes in the recent past had not really enjoyed playing the T20 format. Though he was a match winner in the T20I World Cup final, he did struggle to get going. He takes his time, especially to get going in the T20 format. He consumes a lot of balls, and you have players like Ruturaj Gaikwad and Devon Conway who does a similar job. So can you have a player like Ben Stokes who does very similar job? And now you have a Ravindra Jadeja as a left-hand bat. You have Devon Conway as a left-hand bat. You have Shivam Dubey as left-hand bat. Moeen Ali as left-hand bat. So can teams devise a strategy of playing a lot more off spinners against Chennai Super Kings, which is quite a possibility. And also they will be playing in Chepauk. Chepauk is known to turn, and in service of which turn, Ben Stokes tends to struggle a lot more. So that's a biggest concern for Chennai Super Kings, which they will have to address as the IPL get going. Now, talking about what Ben Stokes bring in terms of the bowling, he can give you 3 to 4 overs. If he's fit and ready to go, he can give you 3 to 4 overs any day, which will give that team the balance. And also remember, there is no Dwayne Bravo in the Chennai camp, so they had to bring in someone to replace Dwayne Bravo in terms of getting the overs. And with Dwayne Bravo, you also get one added advantage, which is bowling in the death, which you now won't get with Ben Stokes. Ben Stokes' death bowling prowess has certainly deteriorated over a period of time, and it's been one of the biggest concerns for him as well. So that's something which you won't get now from Ben Stokes. Now that's the buy of Ben Stokes and how he's going to fit into that system. Now let's go to the neighboring team, right? Sunrisers Hyderabad had a field day in terms of what they wanted. They wanted to buy players with definite intention to fill in the gaps in their team. Who did they go for number 1? They went for Harry Brook. Who is Harry Brook? People might be wondering what is the hype about Harry Brook. Harry Brook had a terrific series against Pakistan, where there were 70-20 internationals played. He was awarded the man of the series there in terms of his batting ability to come in the middle order, come in at number 4-5, change the game in terms of the strike rate, in terms of the tempo of the game, can bat anywhere in top 5. That's a value addition in a T20 format. Can play across the ground. Very good player of spin. Remember, Hyderabad will be playing 7 games in Rajiv Gandhi International Stadium in Hyderabad, where you don't get a very good batting surface. There are times where you get a very sticky surface where you have to counter spin a lot better. With Harry Brook, you get a player who's very good to play spin. Now you have an Aiden Markram in your team. Now you have to replace a Nicholas Puran in the middle order, and that's where they brought in a Harry Brook who can bat number 4 for your team, because now you have Rahul Tripathi, you have Aiden Markram, and now you have a Mayank Agarwal, who I am coming to now. Mayank Agarwal at 8.2 crores is a steal for this team, though they spent 13.5 crores on Harry Brook. But to get someone like a Mayank Agarwal for such a low budget addition is a fantastic buy for this team, because considering what Mayank Agarwal also brings into the table is that Mayank Agarwal is a captaincy option for this team. Remember, Sunrisers Hyderabad are missing out of a captaincy option now. Now there were rumors that they would want to go in with they would want to go in for someone like Abhishek Sharma as a captaincy option, which might not be the ideal way to go. Now with Abhishek Sharma also opening the batting, they would want a player who can also partner him up top. So that's where they have brought in someone like a Mayank Agarwal, very good player of spin, knows the conditions well, can play space balls up front, can attack, can use the square boundaries, can really bring in that experience, a very fresh mind out there. So a very good option in Mayank Agarwal, and also a futuristic captaincy option. He's still 31 years old. I've got really good 7 to 8 years left in his IPL career. Can make the most out of him if you are naming him as a captain. People might say he had a he did a decent job as a Punjab captain. He brought in a new philosophy which teams like England do, which is to go attack, play very bold, play very fearless. Though Punjab did not get going, Punjab did not have the success doing it. But there was certainly a new sense of vibrancy in what you get from Mayank Agarwal. So Mayank Agarwal is a value addition to this team, and he's a very good buy. So for Sunrisers Hyderabad. Now let's go to another team who had done who was pretty quiet, because they had only 8.7 crores to spend, which was the Royal Challengers from Bangalore and wearing their jersey. But yeah, I'm going to be talking about the Royal Challengers Bangalore. How did they go about in the auction? They had two overseas slots left prior to the auction, and they had to fill in those two overseas slots, especially the backup option. Now, if you look at Royal Challengers Bangalore's team, you know who the four overseas players are going to be. Now, with Faf du Plessis being your captain, you got to play him all of the 14 games unless he gets injured. So he's a sure shot pick by himself. And Josh Hazelwood, if he's fit and available, he plays the 14 games alongside Vanindu Hasaranga, who was their biggest buy in the last auction, who went for more than 10 crores in the last auction, and who was the leading wicket taker as well. Alongside Vanindu Hasaranga, you also get Glenn Maxwell. Now, there is a certain injury which is looming over Glenn Maxwell, because he broke his leg because of a very funny incident which took place in his backyard, and he broke his leg. So there's a certain amount of injury which is looming over Glenn Maxwell. So not sure how is he going to be fit for the IPL starter, or is he going to join at some stage later on in the IPL. So they had to get replacement for Glenn Maxwell just in case he misses out. So so RCB cap was pretty clear in terms of that. They went for someone like a Will Jacks. Very surprising. They went for close to 3.9 crores. Will Jacks, an aggressive English top order batsman who can also bowl. He recently picked up a 5 wicket haul in Test match cricket in Pakistan, and he was also very impressive in the 100 back in England. So a player who's carrying a certain amount of reputation in terms of power hitting. Can he be a like-to-like replacement in the middle order for RCB? Certainly, questions can be risen on that, because RCB now have got enough players to bat at the top of the order, with likes of Finn Allen on the wings, Virat Kohli, Anuj Rawat there, Faf du Plessis. Now, can Will Jacks also slot in there, which I don't think is a possibility, because they also got Rajat Patidar, who they would want to play in top three. So if Will Jacks, if he plays, he has to bat in top three. You can't play him below that. It's just unfair on a lad to be put in or slotted in right there in the middle order, where he's been used to playing number one, two, three in T20 format. So that's Will Jacks. RCB also have gotten the service of Reece Topley there. What is it about Reece Topley? Reece Topley, a very interesting buy from RCB. He's come into the entire circuit this season, especially in making a name. He was always there and thereabouts, but this season has been a breakthrough season for him. Um he missed out on the T20 World Cup because of an injury, but despite that, the records he's been carrying, he had a fantastic series against India. He had a very good series against South Africa earlier on in the English summer. So he's a very good option, which RCB have gotten the services of, and they'll be pretty happy with it. But who is that one player who RCB have got? A lot of players are talking about. It is Manoj Bandange. Manoj Bandange has been a fantastic player for Karnataka in the Syed Mustaqil Trophy. What is it about him? And they got him at a base price of 20 lakh. What is special about Manoj Bandange? A player who have risen into the prominence in terms of what he can really bring. And remember, he had a strike rate of 173 in the Saeed Mustaqil Trophy. He's a very good middle order batter who's a left hand batter as well. Can ball handy, medium pace. Fantastic strike rate. Has got very good range in terms of hitting pace as well. Manoj Bandange is a player which is already in the talking. What is it? What is that he brings into the table? So that is what he brings to the table as well. Just to be talking about a domestic buy from them. But regardless of that, RCB have had a very quiet day in the auction. They've got some players who are unknown commodity who they have scouted over a period of time. Even even their scouting head and also the RCB coaching staff was very clear that they've gotten players who they've scouted over the last 1 year. So they had clear plans in terms of who they wanted. They got the big players, and they've gotten the players who they have scouted for. Now with possible mega auction not being there, RCB like any other team would want to build a structure where they would want to incorporate players from outside. They would want to incorporate young talents and build them over a period of time. Now let's go to another team. It is the winners of the champions of the last edition's IPL. It is the Gujarat Titans. Remember, before the start of the auction, they did trade one of their ace spacemen in Lockie Ferguson to Kolkata Knight Riders. So that was the biggest trade which happened way before the IPL auction. So they had to get in a replacement there. They had to get for a player. They had to look for players who can really come in and slot in there. At this point, their bowling looks settled. Their overseas buys looks settled, but still they wanted backups. So who's the first buy they went for? They went for a Kane Williamson at 2 crores. Very surprising, one could say. Um, Kane Williamson, what do you get off Kane Williamson? He's a possible backup opening option. At the same time, he's also a solid solid batsman who can bat in the top of the order. In case Shubman Gill or Matthew Wade is out injured, you can slot him in. In case Hardik Pandya is facing some bit of injury, he wants some bit of leadership or help. He can look forward to someone like a Kane Williams in the dressing room, and his presence in the dressing room in itself will be a huge value addition. People were surprised that they went for Kane Williamson, but still is a very good value addition, because if Kane Williamson can get back to his 100% in terms of batting, you know what he can actually bring into the table. But what has been their best buy? The best buy is possibly Joshua Little, first ever Irish player to be playing in the IPL. Joshua Little for 4.6 crores is a very big buy at this point. They brought him in straight replacement as for Lockie Ferguson. He picked up a World Cup hat trick. Many of you will remember that he picked up a World Cup hat trick against New Zealand earlier in the World Cup, and he's a good left arm addition. He can ball well in the death. He can ball up front as well. So a very good value for money addition in Joshua Little. Not a lot of surprises because people did expect Joshua Little to be bought by some of the IPL teams, and also they've gotten an all-round pick in Odean Smith. Odean Smith, he did carry a lot of reputation prior to the last IPL auction, but since the last IPL, things haven't been going the best of. Since haven't been going the best for him, because last time around he faced Gujarat Titans in a close game. It was Rahul Tewatia who had the better of him by scoring those 2 sixes in the last 2 balls to actually take it on against him. So with Rahul Tewatia, that's what you get, especially when it comes to him taking on the West Indies bowlers. So it's a thing which you get against Rahul Tewatia. Now let's go to another team. Let's go to another new franchise which was inducted last season. It is Lucknow Super Giants. How did they go about in this auction? They had a very quiet auction. Not the best, but at the same time, they got a very big buy in Nicholas Puran, another wicket keeping addition to their team. They've gotten now wicket keeping option Quinton de Kock, KL Rahul, and also now in Nicholas Puran for 16 crores. One of the biggest buys of the day. Massive buy. They had to bring an overseas player because they were missing out on Jason Holder in terms of the overseas slot was remaining, and they went for a Nicholas Puran to solidify the middle order, because there were occasions in the last season where the Lucknow Super Giants were struggling to get going in terms of their middle order. They had a Deepak Huda, but Deepak Huda was batting 1 and 2 and 3. Alongside Marcus Stoinis, Krunal Pandya in the lower middle order, they wanted a player at number 5, number 4 who could really take the things on. And that's where I think Nicholas Puran would fit into this team. Very interesting by they've also gone with Jaydev Unadkat, who had recently received the India call, who's currently playing for India in the test match against Bangladesh. So that's a very interesting buy as well. And alongside Romario Shepherd, who got 7 crores in the last auction but did not get anything close to that this time. And they also got a Daniel Sams, who's another all-round pick, who can be a value for money addition if you're using him on the right surfaces. That's about it from Lucknow Super Giants. Let's talk about Rajasthan Royals, the finalist of last year's IPL. Uh, had a terrific run in the last year's IPL in terms of their bowling attack. who has been the surprise buy for Rajasthan Royals? They've gone in with an Adam Zampa. He went unsold initially, but they've gotten the services of Adam Zampa. They've gotten Jason Holder there, who I thought was a very good buy, because with Jason Holder, what you get is also that he can give you the overs up front. He can pick you up wickets up front. And Rajasthan Royals, if you remember in the last season, they were missing out on a finisher. They were playing Ashwin in number 3, number 4, because they wanted to actually elongate their batting orders. Hence, they had to looking for someone like an Ashwin. Now, Ashwin batting a number 7 in any T20 team, anybody could say it's way too high for him to bat upon. So hence they've gotten someone like a Jason Holder who can bat in number 7 for them. And remember, they've got a Shimran Etmire. Riyan Parag has had a very good season in the domestic circuit, alongside Devdutt Padikkal and top three was Sanju Samson, Josh Butler, and Yashasvi Jaiswal. A solid top 7 at this point for Rajasthan Royals. Alongside, now they've gotten someone like a Joe Root who can come in as a replacement if need be. And Joe Root, if you want, you can put him, you can slot him in the opening position. If at all Josh Butler is facing any bit of injury, you can bring in a Joe Root. I think he's a very underrated, by though he went unsold in the first bracket. He came back, he was brought back, and he was purchased by the Rajasthan. They've gone with Adam Zampa as well. Maybe a replacement for Yuzvendra Chahal, but not a like replacement because he's an overseas spinner. But in case there's an injury, they can, in case they're playing on a surface where it aids spin a lot more, they can play with 3 spinners likes of Ravi Ashwin, Adam Zampa, and Yuzvendra Chahal, which will make them a formidable bowling unit and very tough bowling unit to counter against. Now let's talk about Kolkata Knight Riders, the team, 2-time IPL champions, did not have the best of season under Shreyas Iyer last time around. Who did they go for? Remember, they made big 2 trades prior to the IPL auction, which was bringing Shardul Thakur for 10.7 crores and bringing Lockie Ferguson for 10.5 crores. So they had a very limited budget to play around. They only had 7 crores to play around in the IPL auction this time around, but they've gotten some very impressive buys. They've gotten the star of the domestic circuit in India right now. It is none other than N. Jagadishan. What does N. Jagadishan bring into the table? He is a batter who will be opening the batting with Venkatesh Iyer. Or else, if they want to look the other way, they can also go in with a Rahmanullah Gurbaz. I just forgot him. They also traded Rahmanullah Gurbaz from Gujarat Titans into the Kolkata Knight Riders team as well. So very interesting pick in terms of bringing Rahmanullah Gurbaz, and alongside N. Jagadishan. N. Jagadishan will be a player who will be opening the batting with Venkatesh Iyer. He's had a very, very good domestic season. He broke the all-time list A record where he scored the most amount of runs. So he's a player who's in very good confidence at this point. So if you want to slot him in, there's definitely opening there for him at the top 3. If you remember in the KKR season last time around, this one place they really struggled was their opening slot. They had close to 8 different opening combinations through the course of the season. That's one area they want to settle it out and sort it out completely. So hence bringing Jagadishan is not a bad option at all. Hence a very, very advanced move as well. They also brought in a Liton Das there. Now, who wouldn't forget Liton Das? Liton Das had a very good game against India in the T20 World Cup. Aggressive wicket-keeping option. Can actually be an X-factor player as well. Can also try out an opening position with Liton Das. Now, when they also brought another Bangladeshi pick in Shakib Al Hasan. Shakib Al Hasan and Kolkata Knight Riders is a age-old story, isn't it? Every time Shakib Al Hasan gets sold in the IPL, either he gets sold to KKR or he goes to Sunrisers. So that's been the case with Shakib Al Hasan. He's back to the team where he belongs in IPL. One can say so. And also they brought in David Visa is back in the IPL. Finally, after a long, long time of him missing out, they found there is definitely a like replacement for Andre Russell. In case Andre Russell, with the kind of injuries he has had to face over the years, it's not a bad option to go in with someone like Andre. To go in with someone like a David Visa there. So David Visa is a player they've added into the squad list as well. Now, which is the final team we're going to talk about today? We're going to be talking about the team from Delhi, who had a very, very okay-ish kind of a season last time around, where they did not really get going. Then they were not able to make it to the top 4, certainly. So they had to get in some big, big players in the mix. So they did trade Shardul Thakur, who was one of the biggest buys in the last auction. And who did they get this time? They got Ishant Sharma's services. Finally, Ishant Sharma, after 3 long years, is back to Delhi Capitals once again. 2 long years rather. Back to Delhi Capitals once again from where he all started off. Ishant Sharma in Firoza Kutla alongside players like, so now they have a Nagarkoti, Chetan Sakriya, Khalil Ahmed, and Ishant Sharma as a fast bowling quartet, and alongside Mukesh Kumar. Who will be remembering Mukesh Kumar from the Irani Trophy? He has had a very, very good domestic circuit. He also got an India call up again in the South African series. Mukesh Kumar is a hit the deck seam bowler, can be very handy in conditions which is conducive to fast bowling as well. So a very good buy in Mukesh Kumar there. And who are the batters they got? Manish Pandey, a very very interesting buy. They've gone for Manish Pandey, a team uh, a team who has already got a top heavy batting order has gone for Manish Pandey. Now they've got Yash Dul, Sarfaraz Khan, David Warner, Prithvi Shaw, Rishabh Pant, Mitchell Marsh, and they've got Manish Pandey as well, another option, and Riley Russo, another opening or top three batter in the mix. So they've really not been able to get that ideal middle order batter in their team. They did bid quite a lot as well for the middle order bats, but they just couldn't end up on them because of obviously auction dynamics doesn't work that way. Auction dynamics are very demanding, and if you have a larger purse, you often tend to outweigh the others in terms of the mini auction. But that's been about it. That's been the IPL auction for Delhi Capitals. Now let's look at who are the surprising buys, who are the domestic buys to really watch out for. Now, if you have to talk about domestic buys, there are some big players who've really made the name along in this year's season, but not really domestic. But I'll bring up one player who's had a very decent season. It is Zimbabwe's Sikandar Raza, who has got an IPL contract finally. Who can be a very good option for the Punjab team if they're playing on spinner conducive surfaces like Chepauk if they're traveling away. And also there is a domestic buy to watch out for. It is none other than Vivrant Sharma from Jammu and Kashmir. Can ball handy leg spin. Very good player in terms of what he can actually bring into the table. A hard hitting player. He had a striker of 200 and he had a striker close to 170. And a player who had a striker of 200, they've got him also in that team. It is none other than Sanveer Singh. Sanveer Singh from Punjab. Very good Sahil Mustaq Ali trophy there for Sanveer Singh. Both players have landed up in Sunrisers Hyderabad. So Sunrisers Hyderabad did make the most out of the 42 crores they had in their kitty. Remember, they were the smallest team leading into this auction with only 12 players in their team. Now, at the end of the auction, they've got they've completed their pool and they bought in some young players who are very dynamic, who are very interesting. And remember, Sunrisers Hyderabad have almost filled in a lot of slots. They already had a very strong bowling attack, Indian bowling contingent, likes of Umran Malik, Kartik Tyagi, and T. Natarajan, Bhuvneshwar Kumar, Marco Jansen, Fazlak Faruqi. Now, to add to that, they've got an Adil Rashid, they've got an Akil Hussain, Mayank Markande, and also adding Vivran Sharma and the all-round list. So a very impressive team. That's what they've had this point. Another domestic buy who to watch out was Manoj Abandange, as I already mentioned. Very interesting player who's already made a lot of noise in terms of him trying to break through into the circuit. Who's another player? Nishan Sindhu has gone to Chennai Super Kings, one of the bright stars of the Under 19 World Cup triumphs of India earlier on this year. He has gone to Chennai Super Kings alongside Sheikh Rashid as well. Chennai Super Kings also had a surprising by Ajinkya Rahane. A lot of people thought that came out of the box to go for Ajinkya Rahane as they are playing in Chepauk, a player who Dhoni haven't really preferred, you can say. They've really gone for him. Mumbai Indians have got Vishnu Vinod services there. A dynamic wicketkeeper batter from Kerala. Has got the ability to bat anywhere in top five. Has got a 360-degree game as well. Also, Mumbai Indians have gotten back the services of Piyush Chawla. And Mumbai Indians have gotten the twin brother of Marco Jansen, Dwayne Anson. Remember, Marco Jansen made his IPL debut with Mumbai Indians. Now they've gotten his twin brother Dwayne Anson now. Very interesting if he's going to get a gig or if he's going to get a couple of games with the Mumbai Indians setup. So this is it from us about the IPL auction. Altogether, a mini auction which had a lot of records which were broken. A mini auction which saw a lot of changes, rapid developments which occurred over a period of quick successions, you can say. So especially the all-round pool, that's where all the eyes were in. Some of the teams really came in with an auction, but you can definitely say this was an auction which was certainly hype driven rather than more tactical driven, because a lot of players went on a hype or a reputation which they were carrying over the season, not just on tactics based on ground situations, based on team needs as well. So guys, that is about it from us from Mad About Sports. I hope you really enjoyed this video. So do check out our courses. The link is there in the bio. And also remember to share this video and like it and comment down below which was the most surprising buy and which buy did really please your team the most. And also do comment which is the underrated buy you're looking forward in the IPL. So have a good time all of you and see you all once again very soon.